Well, we have kind of a decision to make here, folks. I'm thinking of maybe tucking tail and running because hang on to your shorts. In one of my other videos, I talk about atmospheric curtains. Think of your value. We're just strapping in. I've got my easel right here. I've got my canvas right here. And we just got to strap it in tight because it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride up there. I want to make sure we don't lose any of the precious cargo. Oh yeah, heading up. Heading down. I thought I'd show you this old ghost town in this old gold mining camp real quick. This is called Old Camp Bird. And just kind of walking through here and just give you a quick little glimpse. Kind of cool, these old buildings. Just imagine the old gold miners and their families being up here in the mountains. There's another little view from the front. And over here to my left, you can kind of see the remains of an old gold mining camp called Camp Bird. This is kind of cool, old machinery here that they used to use. They kept laying around at the entrance of this gold mine. I see there's a waterfall over here. Could that be our waterfall? No, it's not the one, man. Looking for something bigger. All right, let's head on up the mountain. Hang on to your shorts. We'll go that way. There's a really old gold mining site. Okay, we're heading up to Yankee Boy. That way. Where's the waterfalls? Okay, we found this waterfall right here, and this is looking pretty good to me, so I think we're going to try to get down there somehow. It looks like there's a little trail. I'm not sure how to get down there, but I think this will make a real good scenery, real good composition. We have these kind of dark evergreen trees surrounding the waterfall, and then these dark rocks right here, which will produce some very, very nice contrast for that waterfall. So I think we found ourselves an amazingly beautiful place. The mountain runoff is very strong right now, so I was hoping for this and we found it. All right, let's get down there. Hey, how's it going? Okay, we found our location. We got this awesome waterfall view. I've got the wash on. All right, there's the 4 P's of the drawing stage. Let's get into the block-in, or the abstract stage, and our 4 steps to painting a successful waterfall. Here we go. Well, we have kind of a decision to make here, folks. I'm thinking of maybe tucking tail and running because this rain isn't letting up, and it's kind of making it hard for me to teach. I don't mind painting in the rain. You can do it. It's no big deal, but I'm kind of battling a lot of elements here, and I don't really feel like I'm going to get my teaching points in very well. You can see, we get a close-up here of the canvas. I'm still in my thin stage, but it's getting extra thin with all this water. And it's no big deal. I could paint through this if I really wanted to, but take a look at my kids over here huddled up on a rock under the tree. We're about 11,000 feet up, so when it rains in the summer in the mountains, it gets pretty chilly. So I'm just kind of, we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I'll let you know here in a minute. We'll see.
Not to mention lightning, you know.
We got absolutely soaked. We had to leave, unfortunately. It's just how it goes in the mountains sometimes up in Colorado. You know, the weather can shift in an instant. It got freezing cold, rain, just kind of, I didn't even try to protect my painting this time. I could have kept painting actually, but family was with me, the kids were freezing, time to go. So, but I'm not gonna give up. We're gonna get that waterfall. I'm going back. So, you know, this is kind of, maybe I'll scrape this. Maybe I'll just use this for my waterfall painting, we'll see. But we'll go after that waterfall again. Don't you worry. So. Welcome, plein air painters. We are back at the waterfall 1 month later, nonetheless. We had to split last time, as you know, because it just started pouring rain. It was freezing. My family was with me. We had to get out of here. I actually hurt my back getting out of here on the four-wheelers in the hurry that we were in. So I had to rest up for a bit and wait for a sunny day. It's been super rainy here. So we're back though. Didn't give up. We're going to get this waterfall done, and it's going to be worth it, and you're going to love it. This scenery is incredible. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 great tips on how to paint a waterfall scene. Stick with me. Here we go. All right, so I got my wash on here. I just used some Cad Orange, a little Permanent Rose, and a little Cad Medium, a lot of turpenoid, and I just wiped it down with a paper towel. So I've got my wash on, and I'm going to do my drawing next, the 4 P's. Stay tuned for that: pieces, placement, proportion, perspective. And that's how I start every painting. And I'm going to put that in time lapse, my drawing, so you can see that. Here we go. Alright, so we just did the drawing, and first step in painting a waterfall scene is get your drawing in accurately. And for me, I do the 4 P's: pieces, placement, proportion, perspective. You're going to hear a little noise here. We got 4-wheelers buzzing by and everything, so I apologize. But basically, I divide the complex landscape into 4 easily manageable pieces. Piece 1 is going to be that far off, distant, beautiful mountain right above the waterfall there. Piece 2 is going to be this evergreen forest that's beneath it, above the waterfall. Piece number 3 is going to be, hey, 4-wheelers, piece number 3 is going to be the waterfall itself. And this is cool because we've got like a trifecta waterfall. We've got one here, and then we've got another fall there, and then a little spray off right there. So that'll be fun to capture. And then piece 4, of course, will be my foreground. So the other thing in the drawing stage when you're drawing this is you want to get your proportions correct. So the size of everything has to be somewhat accurate with artistic license, right? Compare the waterfall to the size of the tree, the mountain to the size of the rock. Perspective. Anytime you have a chance to show perspective in an oil painting, you want to do that, whether it's a railroad tracks or a road. Atmospheric perspective, watch some of my other videos on that. Through the use of color and value, we can show atmospheric perspective. And then by showing the waterfall get bigger as it gets closer to us, we're showing perspective, and smaller as it dissipates away from us, okay? So make sure you do that accurately in your drawing. Pieces, placement. So everything has a boundary where it goes. The waterfall goes here. The mountains go up here. The rock foreground goes right here in this place. Place it properly, okay? Pieces, placement, proportion, and perspective. So, and then what I do is I get in my shadows, and then my darkest dark, I always make note really quickly of where those are. And for me, it's going to be right here beside the waterfall, darkest darks, because that keys my painting for all other colors. Out there and look at that black rock beside the waterfall. That's a darkest dark. And then maybe some of these rocks and bushes in the foreground, like right here, I want those to be my most vibrant colors and my darkest colors. There's rocks in here like this. Okay, so let's move on to the next step here. Here we go. Okay, come on in here, palette view. Let's do a little color mixing, all right? So I always start with my darkest dark because I can read all my other colors from it. So I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue, one of my darkest, coolest colors. I've got a little bit of alizarin crimson in this puddle. I've got some cerulean blue, and I've got a little permanent rose. And I'm just mixing up a nice, colorful, dark shadow color for right in here for that waterfall rock. It's one of my darkest darks, and it's going to really help me pop and punch the waterfall beautifully. So that's an important piece of this painting. Secondly, there's an evergreen tree right out there in front of the waterfall and some rocks and shrubs. You can see those. I'm going to mix up for those. I'm going to take some ultramarine blue. I'm going to take some cad yellow. So try not to make your greens, you know, with just out of the tube green color. So that's ultramarine blue, cad yellow, medium, and then I'm going to put a little let's go, it's a dark color, so I'm going to go more on the side of ultramarine blue, and I'm going to really blue it up, a blue, pretty blue green color with a little bit of cad red, just to desaturate a bit. Red is the opposing color of green, as you know. So to desaturate or make it not as vibrant or chromatic are those words, I put the opposing color in red to give me a nice, beautiful green color for the trees. And then, okay, see these rocks out here, my foreground, piece number 4. I'm going to mix a color up for those. So let's go cerulean blue, and it's a really dark color. I'm going to put it next to my other colors so that I can compare. Always compare your colors on your palette and lay them out so you can see. And I'm going to go with alizarin crimson. Again, leaning on that gray purple side. But again, to desaturate, I put in the opposing color of violet, which is what? Orange. You got it. To make a kind of a beautiful orangish rock glow dark color, if you will. A little more cerulean blue. I love that color right there. Very cool, but warms in it too. Okay, so now let's do this. Next, what we want to do is abstractly block in these shapes really quickly with a big number 12 brush. Love it. Let's do this. I'm going to abstractly block in these shapes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as quick as I can with the right color value and temperature. Using my big number 12 brush. I'm going to dip into some terpenoid, odorless terpenoid, and I'm going to work thin to thick. So here we go. I'm going to start with my darkest dark, kind of that waterfall. Just a beautiful color. And as I said, that's going to set me up nicely to really pop the waterfall. I've got my canvas in the light. The sun is coming from here and it's shining on my canvas, and I normally don't paint like that. I usually paint facing that way, and you should do that as a plein air painter. You want your palette and your canvas to be in the shade. However, since I'm filming a video and I think it's better for you to see what I'm painting, that's why my canvas is so bright. There's so much in this scene, you know, you really want to squint your eyes, start thinking about your value structure. Every good painting has 3 or 4 foundational values, or structural values I call them. Of course, I have a video on that, so check out that on how to get those in place early on in your painting. And so these pieces all have to kind of fall in these values so that my painting looks right. So to mix that tree forest up there, try this cool green color, you know, because everything's out there is just green. It can be kind of like frustrating sometimes to dial in your greens. Try yellow ochre, a little ultramarine blue, and it kind of gives you this old world kind of faded green color that looks like it's off in the distance. And you know, that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. It's lighter in value than the trees that are up here. I'm going to add a little cad orange to it, like that. I don't know if you can see it yet because there's no other colors beside it yet, but you see how that, using yellow ochre and a little bit of cad orange in there, gives it that kind of faded in the sunlight, far off green color. So try that for your greens instead of using out of the tube green. I'm just going to tackle this foreground piece and put it in just really quickly. It's a gray color, and I'm going to keep a theme in my painting of a violet. So I'm going to use cobalt blue. I used a violet color to make my gray. Cobalt blue. It's a little permanent rose, or you could use alizarin crimson or cad red to dial up a violet color. Mosquitoes. And then I'm going to gray it down or desaturate it with some orange. And I'm going to get that in very quickly. That's how you cover some real estate pretty quickly, right? Try to see and look and see and dial in the different values and colors, and sometimes you can keep some finishing strokes in there that were your underlayer strokes because you nailed it right, and that's what I was just trying to do there. I'm not sure if it worked yet, but we'll see. And then we've got a cool green color here in front of the waterfalls, so let's tackle that next. Here we go. Let's try making a green with cobalt blue, cad yellow medium, and I'm going to go a little cad yellow light in there depending on how the sun is treating it, and some yellow ochre. I do see a lot of oranges in there. There's still a lot of, just one of the tourists that passed by on his four-wheeler said the wildflowers up here are incredible, and I'll show you those in a minute. But that's why people come up here to see these wildflowers, because they only grow here in Colorado at the high elevations, and tourists from all over come to see them. Our state flower is the columbine flower. So those purple ones I'll show you in a minute, but they're just beautiful. The sun's hitting right here as we're painting and talking, so I just want to capture it. Dip into some pure cad yellow light, some phthalo green. I want to save my most powerful punches of color for the foreground. So I'm just seeing it as I move around the canvas, so I'm just putting it in right now. Kind of making a mental note of things. Okay, let's keep going. No time to dilly-dally with the flowers at this point. Okay, I'm gonna get this far off mountain range in here to help me dial in my values. It is part of my value structure, so again, I'm gonna move off violet as my base. A violet gray color, so titanium white. We'll go with cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, just to purple it up just a bit. But since it's my furthest piece, I have to be careful of the value. A little more titanium white, some yellow ochre. I need to desaturate it, which means I got to take the vibrancy out of it. Okay, enjoy. Okay. Just a beautiful rock color with so many different colors in it. There's a cloud shadow coming across there that I definitely have been waiting to get in. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just getting my sky formation in just briefly to help me read my other pieces a little bit better. And there's some clouds popping up behind those mountains, so the sky is just very, very rich in parts. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Put the rain jacket on because the mosquitoes, the bugs are just driving me crazy. But so we're moving along here. I'm trying not to get too detailed and too cutesy. I'm setting up all the colors and values around the waterfall. And in a minute or two, I'm gonna punch and start putting that waterfall in. But just watch me as I fly around here and, you know, just mixing up different colors. There's some beautiful, those rock formations out there around the waterfall. That's kind of what I'm working on now. And those have to be kind of a stronger chroma or color than these lights, you know, so it reads properly. Like I say, we're up here in mining country, so I'm using oranges and yellows because there's a lot of those mining colors, a lot of tailings up here that are left in the rock and in the soil. And so that's just what I'm kind of capturing there. I'm going to put some more greens in here right now. I like how this piece is turning out. Right now the secret is don't get too detailed. Stay here. It's tempting to put a name and a shape and a definition to everything and make it a tree, make it a rock, but in my style, which is all about color and emotion and Russian impressionism, I stay here as long as I can, stay as messy as I can. It's a planned messiness, you know what I mean? You get my point. So there are some greens and shrubs and trees out there. Let's go ahead and put that in. I want to show you how quickly you can do that. Ultramarine blue, yellow, phthalo green, tree, done. Ultramarine blue pure, hints of trees. Alizarin crimson, pure color, no mixing. Right there, just to show some darks, some shadows, some shape to what's going on right here with this outcropping. So you can make a tree pretty quickly. You don't have to be too accurate about it. And I can always go in later and kind of define it, you know, if I want to. I don't really want to right now. Right now I'm just kind of doing abstract shapes, step number 2, and painting a waterfall scene. But I say we get this waterfall color in. Let's do it. One more thing before I do that. Let's just kind of define this rock, my darkest dark, a little bit more. So I'm going to go into alizarin crimson. It's my darkest dark, but now I'm just kind of bringing a little more definition to it. A little orange in there, because there's warms and cools. I'm going to use a palette knife, because a palette knife kind of just is, like I've always said, it's like that bucking bronco. It's hard to control, but it does some nice happy accidents for you. And I don't want to paint every rock. It's the impression of it. It's the colors that I see in there. And then this will set me up for a nice pop of color when I put the water in, which I'm going to do next. Using some permanent rose in my rock color. I'm using some orange. I'm just mixing it in the same pile, but not over mixing it, just to create some interesting colors in the rocks there. Some of it's in light, some of it's in shadow, so you just got to pay attention to that. Then I can just go over it like that. I hope you guys are having a good week with your plein air journey. I think, you know, as I'm using a palette knife here, I'm blocking this in. Just want to say that, you know, plein air painting is something that you can do. You can start it. It's not very expensive, really, in the beginning. You can make it as expensive as you want, you know. But you can get stuff from Hobby Lobby, Walmart, just very inexpensively. Paint tubes that are student grade tubes, you know, for the price that we spend on Starbucks every month or whatever. So it's not that hard, and I'm out here because it brings me peace and joy. I just love to be out in God's beauty and to capture it on canvas, you know. That's why I'm out here doing it. Gets me out of the house, away from my kids. Whoop, cut. Didn't mean to say that. You know what I mean. We all have our happy places. And for me, this is kind of my happy place. All right, time to get the water in. We're going to mix up 3 different watercolors because, and here's kind of the tip with our next stage is don't use titanium white too much. There's color in that water. See the furthest waterfall up there? I haven't decided yet, but sometimes it's in shadow and sometimes it's in brilliant light. The bigger waterfall here to the left, it's catching a lot of sun, but there's also shadow in it. And the one to the right, the small one, is the least chromatic. It doesn't have a strong flow to it. So it's more of a gray color. So I'm going to try to dial those 3 colors in right now. Okay, come down to the palette and we'll take a look. So I'll do one little pile here with a little bit of cobalt blue and a little bit of permanent rose. Again, sticking with my violet theme, my violet base of grays. I've got kind of a violet color for a shadow. I'm going to save this for the pop, so we'll do a little cad yellow light in there, you know, right there. So I've got my light. And then for that lower chroma waterfall, the one that's kind of running out of steam, I'm going to go with ultramarine blue right here and alizarin crimson. More ultramarine blue. It's too violet. I don't know if you can see the palette, but it's I'm going to add orange to it to again desaturate or add less chroma to it. I want it to be a gray color, but I'm searching for the right gray as I mix. I'm just searching. That's too blue. I need more titanium white. It's too dark. Okay, so something like that is good. Okay, so I like that. So here we go. Let's go up to the canvas. Now I'm going to start using my medium. Let's go in. Let's zoom in here. You've seen this before, liquid impasto. Okay, it's my medium. So as you go thin to thick in your painting, now it's time to start getting a little thicker. So what I'm doing is I'm giving definition to my 2-dimensional shapes that I've been working on up till now, giving just a little more definition with thickness, with line, with shape, value changes, edge changes. Okay, big number 12 brush, no time to think, just quick. It's water, it's moving, it's fast, just boom, 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 boom. It's flowing. Paint it like it's flowing and going. Okay, and then let's go with our little kind of leaky faucet waterfall there and see if we can just kind of dial that in a little bit. It's got some color, but not a whole lot, but it just adds some character, you know, to what you could do with your waterfalls. I'm going to switch to this flat. You could switch to a flat brush for your waterfalls to just kind of show that, you know, that spilling over effect like this. See that? Just drag down just lightly, just like that. And then maybe a little harder edge there. And then again, a spilling effect right there. Okay, so I've got the basic shape of my water now. Kind of see it coming to life a little bit. And we will define it a little bit as we go here. Always look for an opportunity to create interest. Lights and darks, cools and warms. Okay, need a little more greenery right here. I've got lots of green puddles to choose from here, so it's just what do I want to use? It's closer to me, so I'm going to go a little bit on the darker side. Need a little more ultramarine blue for some shrubs right here and some stuff going on. Trees as they kind of follow the waterfall up. A little more cobalt blue with that. Just an interesting green color with other colors that were on my brush. And when I'm thinking about my greens, I gotta go dark, mid-tone, and light. Okay, so remember in one of my other videos I talk about atmospheric curtains. Think of your value structure as having 3 atmospheric curtains as you go back in your painting. This is curtain number 1. What's behind curtain number 1? My darkest darks and my most chromatic colors. What's behind curtain number 2? A mid-tone colors and values, not too colorful. And what's behind curtain number 3? Washed out colors and values that aren't as dark. I haven't quite gotten there yet. With my curtains, but that's the battle that we fight. We all fight it, and that's what I'm fighting right now. There's a lot to think about. See, I'm trying to make this a little darker so that these fade back. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Thinking about perspective too, okay? So my trees get smaller when they go back. So I don't just think about the 4 Ps in the drawing stage. I think about it throughout my painting as well. So many beautiful colors up here. I don't know if we've had a chance to show you the wildflowers up here, if you can see them, but they're just spectacular. That's what everybody's up here making all the noise all about. All the tourists. Let's go to our waterfall again and just try to work with the light and shadow in there a little bit. I want to put some light on that waterfall now, so watch how we do that. I'm going to dip into my light color here that I have on the palette, and when the water comes up, it kind of catches a lot of light. So I don't want a flat looking waterfall. Here we go, see if it works. And I want to go next to the darks, so it creates some interest. And let's show it up here too, just a little bit of light periodically peeking through, but not completely. There's more of the white, lighter water down here. I'm using real thick paint and some of my medium because I need the paint to move, but I need it thick. Okay, so it cascades right here. A lot of this is going to catch some light. Water's turbulent and coming up, and then it flows again and catches some more turbulence right down there. Just use a variety of brush strokes. Go quick. Paint kind of emotionally and passionately. Don't draw every nuance of the water. Okay, now what I can do now that I got the light in is I can go back to the shadow and I can play with it a bit and look for the nice blues, the nice colorful colors in the water. And some of that, like maybe right here, bumping up, and then down here. And then you have parts of the waterfall that really have that cerulean blue, really cool color, maybe at the bottom right here. See? Where it's all kind of dumping down. So maybe we show some of that right there. And then there's rock underneath. This is tough, this is tricky. I don't even know if I can do it very well here filming and talking, but I'm going to try to get that rock underneath there. It's a purplish gray color, so I'm just dialing in kind of my reds and a big rock like right where it's cascading over, you know, like right there. But water's going over it, so I can't be too detailed about it. and just kind of put it in shadow a little bit more than it is. Like that. Okay, and the same is true for our leaky faucet. Down here you're going to have a little more cerulean at the bottom of the fall where it cascades. Just push those up into the light. There is some light coming in there, so let's just show that. Not a lot. So it's kind of those lost and found edges like this. There's light hitting there, and then there's light hitting there where it cascades. And again right there where it cascades. So just paint the light, don't paint the water. And then hopefully after you're done, when you look up, it looks like water. That's the whole idea. Okay, let's leave that for now and do some more work. So check this out, rush hour traffic, 11,000 feet up in the mountains. Came here to get away from people. This is Jeep country, that's why people come here. Okay, had to do a little bit of painting. Had to leave you in the dust, man, because I was recharging my phone, so I did a little bit of painting. I got to get through this, but hey, this is the last part of this. The final step of painting a waterfall scene is you want to make sure you have your darkest darks, your lightest lights, and any power accent strokes, and that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, here we go. The light hitting the top of these waterfall rocks right here. So I want to show that. The light is coming from here. So that's kind of what I'm working on there. You could use a palette knife if you want. Show some rocks, colors right here, and the light hitting it up here. And then, you know, look at your lightest lights. Look in here. This is how I did these strokes right here. I just dipped into pure CAD light, maybe a little bit of green, and then power stroke, power stroke. The sun's kind of catching this meadow, you know, right here, so I want that to be, you know, part of my lightest lights, and I want to contrast it against the waterfall, the darks of the waterfall, to create contrast and interest. Okay, darkest darks. Yeah, okay, not bad. Could have a little improvement in here, but looking pretty good. And then in the foreground right here, this is the closest part of the painting to me right here. So what I could do is just kind of show some little undergrowth, some boulders and such that are in here, just kind of scattered throughout the meadow. And then, you know, a fun little thing is, this is wildflower country, is let's just show a little bit of flowers. I'm kind of taking some artistic license because I don't see as many in my scene, but let's just kind of sprinkle and just show that with some CAD yellow. But hey man, this is wildflower season, and there's some wildflowers up here, just very beautiful. And then we have columbines. It's a purple color, so I'm going to get some blue and a little bit of red and ultramarine blue. It's a very deep, beautiful blue color. It's our state flower, so can't walk away without getting some of our state flower color in there. And I'm just using a palette knife and just kind of going quickly, just to show you guys how we could do it. You know, I'll maybe touch it up in the studio, maybe not. And have a little titanium white, ultramarine blue, to kind of, let's just pretend, yeah, over here beside me there's a wildflower meadow, so I'm just going to use some artistic license and put them in kind of right there. Yeah, there's some beautiful pinks. So let's just go into permanent rose and some white. Maybe a little red, kind of run out of CAD red. That just will give you an idea of how we could finish the waterfall scene if we wanted to. You know, we're never really finished. We gotta keep going, man. Okay, good. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to knick-knack it to death. And I was kind of bordering on doing that. Let's just kind of look if there's anything else we want to do here. Of course, you know, I didn't really have time or do a good job of showing some light and shadow up there, but let me just show you a few strokes of how you could do that, and then we'll kind of show you a close-up of some brush strokes. But up here, using a kind of a yellow ochre mixture, I don't want to be too I don't want to be too powerful with it. And just impressionistically, sporadically throughout here, just showing some light hitting those trees up there. Right here. So let's just go like this. I want these to mostly be in shadow, but I want to just kind of show a hint of some light hitting down here in various places just to create interest and to kind of maybe lead the eye into the waterfall a little bit like that. So there's some ideas for you on how to finish strong like that. I think I kind of kept the integrity of my pieces and my curtains. I went pretty quick today, but let's take some close-up looks here of the canvas and see what we got. So darkest darks in here, lightest lights right here, strongest, most vibrant colors. I want to save those for like right here and put them right next to, you know, the waterfall color. Use nice thick paint just like that. Okay. And then we have values kind of receding and going back. We have various light and shadows in the waterfall. I would like to have spent more time on the waterfall, but I just wanted to give you ideas on how that works. And then some beautiful cloud shadows. Again, I'm not completely happy with this piece right here. But sometimes you want to get in and out, as I say, of mountains. You want to get in and out real quick and not detail it to death. I don't want people's eye to be drawn to here. My focal point is right here, okay? Oopsie. See some paint on Millie's forehead. See that? Millie. Millie. Sorry I put paint on your head. I apologize. We'll get it off. Alright, Terry with Learn in Plein Air signing off. Thanks for joining me. Watch this video next on how to see and mix oil colors on plein air in the landscape. It'll help you learn how to see properly the colors and mix them outdoors on plein air. Alright, thanks for joining me. See you next time up in the mountains. God bless.